Hello and welcome to Math 151, Business Calculus. In this video I just want to give you a little bit of an overview of some of the features of the course, where you can find some different information, but then primarily talk about the syllabus for the course and some of the expectations that I have for you throughout the semester. So what we're looking at now is the announcements page, which is the page you'll see every time you log into this course. You'll definitely want to check this to see if any new information has been posted. Make sure you read through that, as well as at least glance over here at the right hand side where you see this box that says My Results. Right now this says I have a 0% in the course because I haven't completed any assignments, but once you start completing assignments this is going to start to fill in to show you your overall standing at any point in the course. So it's a good idea just to check that so that as you're logging in throughout the semester you're just aware of how you're performing as we get closer and closer to the end of the semester and that final grade. The Start Here page is where you found this video. So this is the one we're watching right now. But there's also some information here about how to navigate the course, how to click through the different modules, and just how to proceed from assignment to assignment. Another video on checking your progress and getting help in the course, whether getting help is contacting me via email, coming to see me during office hours, going to visit math tutors, using some of the resources built into the course, etc. So just familiarize yourself with that a little bit. And then there's also a campus safety video, which actually appears right now to be dead, so I will get that updated. What we want to focus on primarily, though, is the information in the course syllabus, which again just sets the expectations for the course, gives you an outline of what you'll be completing this semester. We're going to skim through, mostly hit some of the highlights, but you'll want to go back and read through all of this information because you are responsible for being familiar with the information that's posted here. This is going to start off with my contact information, which will include my office, office hours, phone number, and email address. You're absolutely welcome to stop in my office anytime during office hours. Come in to get some help, ask some questions about what we're supposed to be doing in the course, those sorts of things. But if you're not able to make it into my office hours, I'm going to encourage you to use email as the best way to get in touch with me. I try to reply to emails very quickly, at least within 24 hours. But do keep in mind that over the weekend it may take me a little longer to respond. You're also welcome to call my office, but email is just going to be the best way to get in touch with me and get the quickest response. So a graphing calculator is required for this course. So we will, for certain applications, be looking at using a TI-83 or 84 graphing calculator. So that is one of the required materials for the course, along with online access to MyLabs Plus. So if you haven't already bought an access code for MyLabs Plus, you'll be prompted through the website to purchase one as soon as you start accessing your first assignment. Or the other thing you can do is head to Heartland's bookstore and you can buy sort of a cardboard packet that has an access code included with it. You'll also need a graphing calculator, a TI-83 or 84. If you have a different model graphing calculator, please contact me as soon as possible so we can talk about that. What I can tell you is that TI-89s will not be allowed, but there are some other models that might be acceptable if you have one of those. You're also going to need online access to wolframalpha.com. It's a free site available to any internet-capable device, so nothing you have to purchase, but a site that we will be using throughout the semester. In terms of optional materials, you can purchase a physical textbook if you want. When you get access to MyLabs Plus, there is an e-text available. So the only real reason to buy the physical textbook is if you would prefer to have a physical book to read versus reading information off the screen. So again, we're going to skip through some of this information, but I would encourage you to come back and take a look at it since it's setting some of the expectations of the material that we're going to be covering. And we're going to talk a little bit more about some of the policies and my specific expectations for the course. First thing to be aware of is that this course will rely heavily on technology. As an online course, that should already be an assumption you're making. But we're going to be making use of MyLabs Plus. We're going to be making use of Wolfram Alpha, that website that I mentioned before. A lot of tech tools for this course. Lack of access to or malfunctioning technology may not be considered an acceptable excuse for late submissions. So you need to make sure that you have a reliable internet connection, an internet-capable device. If you are having any issues connecting, Heartland's computer lab in the library is always available to you anytime that's open. And you should also think now about having a backup plan in mind in case internet goes down. If there's a bad storm, if there's just a glitch, something that happens, you want to have a backup plan in mind of somewhere else you can go, friend's house, family member's house, coffee shop, somewhere where you'll be able to access the internet and get your assignments completed. Your attendance and participation in this course are going to be important. For an online course, attendance isn't going to mean meeting face-to-face, but it is going to mean reading the e-text, watching lecture videos, completing assignments, and participating in weekly discussions. Some of those discussions will be individual, while others will be group assignments where I'll pair you up and you'll need to work together to craft a combined response that you'll post. But as each of those discussions pop up, we'll talk about those a little bit more in depth. There is a midterm withdrawal policy in place. So if any of these conditions are met at midterm, you may be withdrawn. Hopefully that won't be the case for any of you, but just so you're aware. If you fail to access the course for 2 weeks without notifying me, if you failed to fully participate in more than 2 of those module discussions, or if you've completed less than 60% of the assignments by midterm, you may be withdrawn from this course. So we'll be completing homework and quizzes through MyLabs Plus. You get an unlimited number of attempts at every homework question. So I'd encourage you to get at least 100%. Encourage you to get 100% on every homework assignment. But there is a due date for those assignments. Once that due date hits, you can still submit homework late, but you'll receive a 10% point deduction. So what that means is for every homework assignment, even if you fall a little bit behind, you should be able to get a 90% on everything, since you can always complete those questions over and over again until you get them right. Quizzes are going to work a little bit differently. For quizzes, you'll start off with just 1 attempt at each of the 2 quizzes for the modules. When you have that first attempt, there will be a practice exam to help you prepare. But what you'll be able to do is unlock a second attempt at each of those quizzes if you have a 95% or better on the homework assignments for that module. So if you're working ahead, if you're working hard, getting those good grades on the homework, that's going to give you kind of a second chance if your first attempt at the quiz doesn't go well. But keep in mind there's also practice quizzes, other ways to help you prepare. There is no late policy for quizzes. If you don't submit a quiz by the due date, you'll simply lose the points for that assignment. Exams in this class, there will be 3 regular exams, which will be 2-part in nature. 1 proctored portion, which has to be taken at one of Heartland's testing centers. That will be a traditional paper pencil test. And then there's also going to be a take-home test, which will be completed through MyLabs Plus, where you will be using Wolfram Alpha to go into more of the application end of business calculus. And each of those questions will also require at least a short written response where you're providing an interpretation for what your results mean. We'll get some more familiarity, some more experience with that as the course progresses, but for now just keep in mind there are always going to be those 2 portions. One you need to come to campus for, the other portion you'll be able to take from home. There's also going to be a final exam, which will just be a proctored exam, so again a traditional pencil paper exam, which will have to be taken at Heartland's campus. Final exam has to be completed to get a passing grade in this course. Otherwise, you'll receive a 0 and automatically fail. So again, hopefully nothing we have to worry about, but just to be aware that final exam is going to be required for everyone. You will have a couple of options throughout the semester to improve a low test score. One will be with that final exam. The final exam can replace a low percentage on your proctored exam score. So if one of those 3 proctored exams doesn't go quite as well, the final exam will give you the opportunity to boost that and make up for it. You'll also have the option to replace one of your take-home exams with an optional 4th exam. So if one of those take-home exams, again, doesn't go quite as well as you would have hoped, there will be an optional 4th exam over some new content, which you'll be able to take to replace that lower score. We've got information on the release dates for the different exams, as well as the grading structure for the course. So if you look at those module discussions, those weekly discussions, homework, and quizzes, those 3 sets of assignments alone make up 30% of your overall grade. I like to weight that pretty highly to make it appealing for you to engage in those, since those are going to be the week-to-week assignments, the things that we're doing. I want to make sure that if you're completing those, your overall grade is getting a nice boost. So that's making up 30% of your grade, which is actually weighted higher than the final exam itself. So I'd encourage you to put significant time into those assignments each week. Make sure you're doing well because it's going to boost your grade. but obviously it's also going to give you good preparation for the exams and for the final exam. There are a couple of dates to be aware of. Some dates the college is closed. The last day to drop with refund. So January 25th is the last day to drop this course if after the first 2 weeks you feel like something just isn't working right, maybe an online class isn't the best option for you. So keep that date in mind. Hopefully everyone will be here through the end of the semester, but if this class just doesn't feel like the right fit for you, you do have the option to drop. Spring break will be March 7th through 12th, and then the last day to withdraw from this course will be April 8th. The FERPA statement is just explaining that due to some federal laws, I can only communicate with you about your progress in this course. That means I can't discuss your progress in this course with anyone else. So if you're contacting me via email, I need to make sure that email comes from your Heartland email account so I can verify that it is you I'm talking with. Or those messages need to be sent through MyLabs Plus, again, so that I can verify I'm talking with you about your progress in the course and no one else. If you email me from a different address, I can't respond, I can't answer questions about the course or your progress. Then what we've got is our weekly schedule. What you'll typically see is a pattern of completing 3 modules and then taking an exam over that content. So our first 3 weeks are going to be devoted to modules 1 through 3, and then in week 4 we'll hit our first exam. You can glance through the rest of the pattern there. The spring break week is noted. During week 16, that's when that optional 4th exam will hit. Our primary focus that week is going to be on reviewing for the final exam, but for folks who want to complete that optional 4th exam, that short week at the end of the semester will also be when that optional exam is available. And then our final exam is going to be due Tuesday, May 10th at midnight, or more specifically when the testing center closes. There's also, some general information for students you'll want to take a look at. Information on testing services, which you will be making use of this semester, as well as information on tutoring services, disability support services, which just depending on your needs may be some useful information. So again, take a look through the rest of the information in the syllabus, make sure you're familiar with all that you've read the policies for the course. Also make sure you've looked at the information on the Start Here page and the Getting Help page so that you're familiar with how to navigate the course and some of the different resources that are available. If you have questions at any time, please feel free to contact me. Good luck!